Hello everyone, today I'm going to be taking a look at a monstrous figure for the Spires in Conquest, the Last Argument of Kings. This time around it's the terrifying Pteraphon, which does include alternative head and tail. As you can see here. So a huge flyer. Okay, so we have two sprues, relatively simple. We have our bases, both round and square. Activation card for the command stack. And our build guide. Okay, the Pteraphon instructions. We have two sprues, a QR code if you prefer to use some sort of device, although if you've got the page in front of you, you shouldn't need to. Unfolds into a relatively straightforward build. You can see here, the little cog symbol shows that this is an option, so either 18 or 40. Likewise for the head, 1011 or 3938. And this I haven't seen before. Note that although the outer shell parts 22 and 23 are highly adjustable, positioning them too low may obstruct the wing placement. Does that mean the wings should probably go on first, or are they integral to the wings? I will find out. For the rest of it, straightforward enough. A simple 25-part build. Having made the Wadroon flyer, they are relatively quick to build. So some whippy plastic, extruded, but not connected to the piece. So first frame, one of the wings, main body components, the poor spire inside. For this is not a flyer, it is some sort of genetic cloned thing that is almost like a bat suit. Some nice crisp detail on it. Sprue gate there hasn't formed, but the wing has, so that's okay. The sprue gate comes down on the edge of the wing. Relatively evenly spaced, and none of them in any particularly egregious position. Certainly nothing that would stop me from building or take away detail when I'm clipping it off the sprue. Here we have the flight stand. Our other wing, you can see the biomechanical feel of the spires coming through there. Everything is, as you would expect, numbered to allow ease of build. And if you've got multiple pieces close together, they also have little arrows beside them as well. God bless them. So you know which is which when you come to clip out. Right, let's get this bad boy built and we'll see how it looks when it's all assembled. Okay then, the Pteraphon is built and our Pteraphon is Pterifying. Size-wise, I'll do this very quickly. From front of nose, we'll say, to tail is 190 mil, and it is 300 mil wingtip to wingtip. However, there are caveats. The first being these wings are ball socket, so they can be swept back. This is at their furthest extension, more or less. And they can also be adjusted up and down. Also, this head and this tail are one of two choices, shall we say. So, around that size. As far as the build goes, relatively smooth. Did have a bit of, not an issue, but fiddle with this part of the torso and this tail. So you have to, the torso rests on the side armor. Like I was saying when I looked at the sprue, there is a little spire in here, a little clone. You can see his face there. And then all of these other layers build up and around it to the point where you can't see that body inside anymore. If you want to do some sort of deconstructed Pteraphon as a diorama or whatever, you could. It's remarkable how the sort of armoured shell of this creature goes around the clone. The arms are fully posable and articulated again. So it's 1, 2 pieces of the arms and then the hands. So you could have these extended like the card shows. They don't have to be tucked up in and underneath. There is a central bowl socket position here. That's for the flight stand, which I didn't put on so I could show you this. But you can see the sort of, I suppose, biomechanical structure, the nature of the spires after all, with these pieces in the wings themselves and then the sort of armoured plates with almost an insect-like sort of feel to it. And then at the same time you also have these very peculiar organic sections. Overall, it's a really nice looking thing. As far as it works in game terms, when it's flying around the place, it has 10 attacks with a clash of 2, so, you know, not great. But you would expect maybe 3, 4 hits out of that most turns, unless you're getting some sort of buff. It does have a volley of 3, which is good because it has a barrage of 10 with a 12-inch range, so it's really about manoeuvring it. It's better positions, so it's got to fly with the move of 8, so potentially 16-inch move if it's flying around the place, but you also then have the potential to move 8 and then reach out and touch somebody 12 inches away with a barrage attack. But really when it comes to its main feature is the support benefits it brings you. As far as that goes, it has 4 really key abilities. So it has Neural Link. Any other unit within 8 inches, any friendly unit within 8 inches, when they're rolling their charge, get to roll 2d6 and pick the best. So all of a sudden, for those large units, your Avataras, the Brutes, whatever it happens to be, your big Brute clones, this makes them much more reliable to get them into combat, including, I suppose, things like Abominations as well. They benefit from that rule all the same. So that's quite tasty in and of itself. It also has Eye in the Sky. When you finish activating the Pteraphon, you can choose to immediately reveal your next command card. And if it's a regiment that's being brought in as a reinforcement, you get to play it immediately with Vanguard 4, even if it doesn't normally have Vanguard. So when you're stacking your command deck, you can put together a really tasty setup where this guy gets into position and then you bring on an additional unit and activate it immediately, sort of an additional out-of-sequence activation that you normally wouldn't see. And I'm all for that as well, especially early game or mid-game when you're looking to take control of specific areas, or you need to bring on reserves very quickly and get them into position. It's great for that. And then there's Pharaoh Trails, and that has 3 abilities. It's a more support option at that point. They all work with an 8-inch range. One of them will mess up your opponent, so enemy units will reduce their defense by 1 until the end of the round. It's only 1 enemy unit you've got to pick. The other 2 are buffs for your own. So 1 can heal a friendly stand for 2 wounds within 8, and the other one is you can either add +1 to your march or resolve characteristic until the end of the round. With those abilities, it then becomes a a support unit that your opponent's going to want to try and remove quickly. It does have a decent defense of 3, and it's got a stack of wounds. So 15 wounds on it means people are going to be restricted in how they get rid of it. Let's put it like that. They're going to have to do an awful lot of damage. They can't really reliably take it out with shooting, which means they're going to have to send something fast after it. Because you've got flight, you really should be making sure that it stays well away from them. But yeah, overall, the Pteraphon is a fantastic little kit, and with a couple of options on there as well. So if you run 2 of them, you'll really upset your opponent, I suppose. Gives you good range across the battlefield as well. So there you go. Relatively simple construction on the whole. Looks fantastic. I really like the big flyers that they've made for Conquest, and the spires having that little poor clone in the middle with all of this living thing grafted onto it is delightful. In-game, running it as the surveyor, the Pteraphon's really interesting. Being able to sort of spot enemies and also redirect or bring on your reserves in a vanguardy quick motion is really interesting. It's like having aerial reconnaissance, which normally you wouldn't be able to do in a fantasy game because you've no way of communicating. However, the spires with their pheromone trails and all the rest means they can do these things. So it lends itself very nicely to the spires as a whole and gives that idea of a technologically advanced fantasy race to a certain degree. And like I say, the figure itself is absolutely beautiful. It should paint up particularly nicely with my colour to go with my Spires Force. But let me know what you think below. Until next time, bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.